new narthex that we put on the front of their existing worship space. This is their new parish hall. This is the admin building that we did back in the early 2000s, which is actually sitting right on where the street used to be. And the whole idea was to finally give them an entrance that really kind of brought the whole congregation together. He had done a very country church and set the plate heights really low, so a lot of this project is how to camouflage bigger volumes into a more Terrytown residential scale. This is the new narthex with their new carillon, and we had to add an organ and a whole bunch of other pieces. This is the renovated worship space. This is the last phase. This is their brand new organ. This is where the wall of the existing building was. We'll talk about this. This is all a big firewall and mechanical chase and organ, all kind of, so I had all of these pieces combined into one thing, and I had to coordinate through an architect, and being able to show 3D to all these people was really important. And, we modeled the organ from the organ drawings so that the organ people could see what they were doing. Because the residential lots that they had been using as houses, we took the houses down, coalesced, pulled away from the neighborhood. And all along through this, we were using the 3D model. We take our 3D models to our building committee meetings. We take our 3D models to our neighborhood meetings. We're always showing them what we're doing. We're always showing, walking through, so that most of our clients don't read drawings. Why are you going to be bigger? So we need to be able to show them, through the model what we're going to look like. So to convince them that, having this playground up above the thing with the shade, actually that's part of the reason we had the shade restrictions, and we looked and said, oh my God, we took the trees down that shaded their old park playground, we need to do something about that. So basically we have one site file where we have the model, then the buildings are all in different files so that you can work in each building orthogonally, because working at an angle is less than pleasant. But what happens is, because we have existing buildings and new buildings and all different levels, hot linking by floor got to be really complicated, because no building really matches up with the other buildings because of the grades. So our original concept for the front of the narthex was to be very open and glassy and really kind of let the inside and outside. And the client felt that that was too Baptist, I think was the word.
Really? I didn't know that was
adjective.
But the biggest thing was that it really changed what was their
heaven forbid they want to
their
be
image
Baptist.
of what the existing church had been relatively closed. So when we got to the new building, we actually moved and made it a lot more solid and brought their existing rose window to the front. So that's one of the things, because we've been showing them images all along, they were able to say, that's just not feeling right to us. And that was a process over 6 years of one of their building committee members not feeling comfortable with it until finally he could tell us what he wasn't comfortable with. The car was coming normal direction through the parking garage right here. Their drivers weren't going to be able to make this turn to get out. So all of a sudden we had this problem of, oh my God, our column grid is not going to allow a car normally to get out. That's going to be a bit of a problem. So we were able to go ahead and model, put all the cars in, put all the striping in, and show them that really, if we just reverse the flow of the garage, then it'll all work out. And so we were able to show them, walk them through this, and let them see how the garage felt. Not only were we able to show them what the garage felt like, but be able to go through the circulation. So so we do a lot of work with modeling our structure so that I can communicate with, I'm working with a metal building right now, and oh my God, I'm not sure they looked at our drawings when they did their plan, but we're fast tracking that, so I need to work with theirs. So I went and quickly modeled all their columns worth of ours, and so we could hash out. We use GoToMeeting a lot, call them up, pull it up on the GoToMeeting, and hash out. It's like, look, I understand this is where you think the column is. This is why it can't work. So we do a lot of that. In this case, also, So the existing air conditioning system were these finger dumps, but getting air conditioning from we were changing the air conditioning, changing out the chilled water system, but getting it up through a chase that exists past the level, past where the organ is, because this is that whole organ front. Basically, I got my MEP engineer to tell me what area you need. And I went in here, modeled through this, and then went back to them. Okay, here's the size duct you get to use, because I'm fighting the MEP engineer versus the organ people who has clearance. Set up. These are live 3D views so that they can see, if we make some changes, it'll change in here. It just really helps the contractor understand where and what they're supposed to be doing. That and that don't really say the same thing, because this, you don't understand that it's getting bigger and wider and changing. This is the cantilever ledge that comes out here. Here's the $800,000 organ that sits on the ledge. These doors are just sitting there. The fire alarm, when the fire alarm comes off, the fire alarm actually comes down on the outside of the doors. All of that blanks off, and you have the two exits on either side here. So we had to coordinate, structure, mechanical, organ, fire, existing building, and trying to make it all aesthetically work out in what is a very precious design space.
That's where having the clients from Terrytown is a mixed double-edged sword, because we also had so many Indian chiefs that you're touching some very sacred areas, and there was more than one of them that had to come in and see what we were doing before they would be comfortable.
But on the plus side, I got to do custom doors, and existing were not quite, what was built was not quite what was in their drawings, and we were too far down in the steel at that point. So even things like, we were able to say, okay, that's actually not a firewall, though, it is right where the firewall is, and so it looks like, but really this is here, because this roof does not match that roof.
Just a fraction of
well, they're just slightly off slope, so they match in some places and not others. So, but we were able to throw this in and say, hey, especially when we turn the trees on here, we have most of the trees in our version of the trees. You can see that it just doesn't matter. But what did matter was we couldn't set the mechanical units on the ground because there is no back to most of these buildings. So in this case, creating a mechanical
mezzanine or something.
Well, there is a mezzanine up there, and then there's this outside sort of thing where the chilled water piece sits, and then the big building.
And then there's another story where they just had an inversion of red brick, and they can't get past it.
Yeah.
So then I started doing a bunch of hidden line, sketch render things, and bringing in materials so that I kind of understand where he's going, without having to take the time to try to make.
Because that would have been really hard to draw. But then he goes through and he's taken the texture off and done his own texture.
Right.
Yeah, it's
So,
great little rendering. Shows you just enough to say yes, but not to say no.
Yeah.
And literally, congregation members lined up one by one so that I could find out what pew they sat in order that they could see what it was going to look like with the new organ. Because up to that point, there were a bunch of folks who were really not clear that they were going to support the new organ. Not only was it expensive, not only was it a change, it was going to block my view of the back of the altar. And so we had a chance to literally say, okay, you sit here, this is what it's going to look like. You sit here, this is what it's going to look like. So sight lines are surprisingly an important element.
Well, especially when you're dealing with committees, because it's not like one person you have to communicate with. You got a whole, and then fundraising is another thing. You have the 3D views of what it's going to look like. So, yeah, there's a lot of advantages, especially in the space you're working with.
So do you use
I'm not
basically
changing
this is where you are. Go back to
outside of the house.
original.
So here, let's look at this from here. So here's existing. And I have some furniture that's not on the right thing yet, but so we're taking out this wall and we're opening up the kitchen, this space. So if we look at demo, it'll show you what walls are being demoed and kind of project completion. Let you see. And that's what I'm saying in terms of the home construction.
Yeah.
I mean, it's glorious to move through this stuff. Yes.
They would hit you up for Blue Bean next. So.
Yes, yes. Bluebeam, they got a Bluebeam connection now with ArchiCAD because they're both owned by Nemetschek.
Right.
All right.